Hi, you nines. Welcome back. And today we're going to be looking at adolescent identity. Last week we had a little bit of a look at the power balance or the power imbalance sometimes of relationships. And then also touched on empathy and what making ethical decisions is about. So, I posed a few questions a little about, if you found $100 on the street and you noticed that an old lady had just got something out of her purse and dropped it, would you make a decision to go and find her and return it to her, or would you just keep it? And these are sort of some of the moral dilemmas I guess we come across in life. And as adolescents, you at that age where you need to start making these decisions yourself. And, obviously the kind thing would be to return it to that person and probably would have made their day. And I guess thinking about the consequences if you didn't return it and those feelings that you might then carry with you of, maybe guilt or regret. Some interesting things to have a little think about. So today we're looking at identity in adolescence. So first we'll have a little look at the changes during adolescence. Obviously you would know some of these because it's happening to you right now. And so bodies grow and develop. We have this thing about body image cropping up, and that's probably been happening for quite a while now. Often they even say like boys and girls as young as 8 or 9 are starting to worry about their bodies, which is really disturbing. But the more I guess that we can talk about it now, the better we feel a bit more comfortable with who we are. Emotional changes. We get more moody and irritable and frustrated, and everyone annoys us, especially during lockdown. There's a lot of that going on in my house at the moment, and especially with the news now of coming back to on-site learning. My younger two are pretty stressed and irritable at the moment. So another thing during adolescence, we have new thoughts and feelings and attractions. You might start thinking, that person's really lovely and really cute and I quite like hanging out with them. Understanding who we are and who we are becoming. So those attitudes and beliefs and values that, up until now or up until a year or two ago, pretty much just based on what your family has kind of taught you and influenced you with. But as we go through adolescence, we start to become our own person and move away from our family thoughts and beliefs as just accepting for what it is, to now we need to come and make up our own decisions. And that happens gradually. It doesn't all of a sudden go, I reject everything that my family say. That's not true. And I know when my eldest, who's now almost 20, was starting to go through this, I found it really hard and confronting as a parent, like as a mum. And, she had different ideas to me. And I had to really learn as a parent to be open and to listen attentively and not be judgmental, and to allow her that space to separate if she needed it on different ideas and thoughts, and to still be loving and supportive through that. And, through that process, I've grown as a person, she's grown as a person. And now, some of those things that we kind of had in conflict, now we're not so, at each other with it. And we can respect each other's ideas and philosophies and still be connected as a mother-daughter unit. Continue to develop a personal identity. This is huge at your age. Exploring where you fit into social and community groups, and, that independence from parents and other adults, wanting to be able to go to the shops on your own, or wanting to be able to make some decisions on your own. And, for some adolescents, this is trickier than others. So some go through it in, what would we say, more intensified than others. And I certainly have noticed that in my family. And it'll be interesting in the next few years when, they all end up in teenage years. Like I've got a 19, nearly 20-year-old, I've got a 14-year-old in year 8, and then I've got an 11 and a 9-year-old. So soon our family is going to be full of teenagers, and adolescence and going through all these changes, and already starting to see little snippets of it from the younger ones as well. So, do adolescents have control over these changes? What do you think? If we were together, we'd have a nice little conversation right now. But, some things we have control over and some things we don't. We don't have control over what happens in our body as far as our growth and our hormone changes. So, you'll notice that some females in grade 6 are fully developed, got a women's body. They've had a massive growth spurt. They're tall, their body shape changes. And then others don't have that until they're in like year 8, nearly year 9. I know I found that hard as a teenager because a lot of my friends their bodies developed a lot quicker than me. And, I was probably year 8, nearly year 9 before my body changed and grew. And I was always the smallest, and it was hard and kind of wondering why, everything was so late for me. But this is normal in life. Like, going through puberty is like a spectrum, and it, some go through early, some go through right on average age, and some go through it late, and it's all normal and it's all okay. Boys tend to have their growth spurts later because they don't finish growing until they're about 21, whereas females are pretty much done by the time they're 15 or 16, 17 sort of at the most. So our bodies grow and develop at different rates. And then we question who we are and what we value. And that's a really normal part of development. And I guess one of the most important things out of all this discussion about relationships and changes in adolescence is that it's normal to go through these changes and these thoughts and these confusing stages as well. So growing up, we learn about ourselves, becoming independent. We learn to develop our own self-control, and that's huge at the moment. So, when you're feeling cranky and you don't want to talk to anyone, but your parents are trying to get you to chat at the dinner table, self-control is big and it's really important. And even if you can just politely say, I know you want me to talk, but I've had a really busy day and I just need to be quiet. That's much more respectful than, how can you still make me do this? It's, because we all just sometimes want to just shout and scream and just like, get off my back, or just ignore. So, having control over the way we react to things and how we make safe and healthy decisions is partly some of the things that we can control. So that's something to work on. And, I can say this now because I look back at what I was like as a teen. I look back at what my eldest was like when she was your age. And, and we often have, laughs about the things that went on when she was a certain age, and my second one as well. And, certain things were really hard for them, and they used to have these meltdowns and tantrums all the time. And now we look back and go, oh my gosh, that was really full on, wasn't it? And have a bit of a laugh about it. So other factors that influence adolescent change. So genetics. So what you've inherited from your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents. Brain development. Going back to genetics, both of my mum is quite short. She's only 5 foot. My dad's about 5'10", so I was never going to be a really tall person. And both my grandmothers were barely 5 foot. So there's a lot of short genes in my family. So, none of us, even my brothers, they're just sort of average height, but they're not tall. Whereas my daughter, her father is 6'2", and so she's tall, and understandably. So it does make a big difference. Brain development, obviously there's a lot of rewiring going on in your brain, your neuropathways, and everything's a bit chaotic and a bit haywire at the moment. Environmental factors make a difference as well. The community you belong to and the culture that you've grown up in. And experiences with friends and family, and then also diet and lifestyle. If you ever go into a museum, when we're allowed to again, and if you've ever been to an exhibition where they've got clothing from like the 1800s or the early 1900s, they were tiny. So like, their waists were so small and their feet were like tiny compared to ours. And that was partly because they had really poor nutrition. So they didn't get the wide range of fruit and vegetables and meats and everything that we did. And so their bodies never flourished like we have in our society now. So it does make a big difference. And they walked everywhere. They, didn't jump in a car to go somewhere. They had to walk. So how might these things affect our relationships? So you might want to spend less time with your family. That's, often what happens. Emotional changes cause more arguments. And, that's just part of being a teenager too. You may develop different viewpoints around people. And that's okay. There's a lot of talk about different viewpoints at the moment with COVID, and it's being able to hold your own ideas and be respectful of others and not judge. So that's, something that we can work on. You may start developing your own choices and values and morals that are different from your family or your community or culture or religion. And this can be really hard for the people that live with you, but it's okay to develop your own thoughts and attitudes. And we'll talk about this, further on. Strategies to help deal with those changes. You might find a creative outlet such as sport or music or writing, journaling, art. Combine those even. Talk through your decisions with a trusted friend or an adult. Eat well and get lots of sleep. Stay connected with your family and positive role models. They are there because they love you and they will accept you even if you're going through a hard time with them at the moment. Try to see other people's point of view, not just your own. That was a bit about talking about empathy. Remember I asked you a question about narcissism? So, a true narcissist cannot see anything from anyone else's point of view except themselves. Really hard to have good relationships with those types of people. And then to develop and maintain these respectful relationships. So there's a little bit on rights and responsibilities here as well. Whoops. Yep, wrong way. We all have the right to be heard. That's pretty much a school rule, isn't it? Right to decide when and whom I will develop a relationship with. The right to have trust my own attitudes, belief, and values. It's a really important life skill to trust yourself and trust your gut feelings. And when we're back on site, we can have a chat about that. I had some experience with that in my 20s and 30s. I have the right to be in control of my own relationship experiences, and the right to say yes or no. And I have the right to change my mind, the right to feel safe, and the right to feel treated with respect. So with these rights come responsibilities, obviously. And we have a responsibility to listen, to check what others' attitudes, beliefs, and values are, and to look after ourselves and others, and to treat them with respect. Really important things. So the other thing I'm going to get you to do is this here. Rights and responsibilities in a relationship. So, you can make this about, parent-child relationship. It can be about friends, up to you, but we're just going to have a go at doing that. And then there's also about identity. So looking at those physical, social, mental changes. What changes do adolescents have control over and what you don't, which is what we've all been through. So this is just to check your understanding. Okay, so have a go at these and let me know if there's any issues or, you need help with anything. Some people have been having trouble getting these forms filled out. If you need me to email you anything, please just send me an email and request that. But good luck. Have a think this week about, how you're going with relationships within your family and maybe some area that you need a bit of self-control in. And look at and celebrate the areas that are really good and going really well and be really grateful for those. Okay, see you soon. Bye.